Okay, this is a quick tutorial for doing a stained glass look in Bryce. Obviously I'm in Photoshop now. What I want to do is show you how to create the basic form for stained glass. And I'm picking a brush with a kind of a feathered 5. And I'll just, click up here in the, whoops, let me change this to black. I'm going to click up here in the corner, hold my shift down, go to the other corner in about the same spot. Go back over here. Not quite perfect, but that's okay. And I'll get my basic square down, and then I can go across, click up here, go across again. And really, this is kind of up to you for your design. What you can do is you can do shapes or, you know, um, different designs, whatever it is. I'm going to go ahead and delete this layer, and I'll show you what I did. I started off with this same basic principle. I just erased the middle of it and drew a circle. Added on some other circles. Just kind of started putting them random, and then I saw a pattern, so I just kept going with it. And I'll just leave it like that. And then basically I saved this picture to my desktop. Now, it's important to mention that my image size is 512 by 512. And the reason is because I'm going to set my terrain texture in Bryce to be 512 by 512, if that makes sense. So for example, if I was going to start new, I do File, New, 512 to 512, and then I would start my painting. Okay? So that's how I did that. Anyway, I saved this picture to my desktop, and I'm going to switch now to Bryce. And this is a new Bryce image, and I'm going to use the symmetrical lattice. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit larger so I can work with it a little bit better. I'm going to click Edit, and you'll see that I have this basic terrain. First, what I want to do is I want to make my brush really large, make sure it's all the way to the top, and I just want to paint this out. Really doesn't matter, but I'm going to be importing those pictures, and I want to be able to use them. So I'm going to go Picture, Load, and then I'm going to go to my thumbnails here and kind of view what I've got on my desktop. So there I've got my cross. I'm going to copy, paste, and apply. Now you see how it's real fuzzy? What I didn't do is set my mountain to be 512. It looks blurry, but I'm going to apply it again. Okay, now it's very clear. Now what I want to do is I want to grab my tool here and drag it up a little bit, and it'll turn this black, but basically what that's doing is it's cutting in. It's dropping the bottom out so that we don't have black, we actually have nothing there. The other thing I want to do is back over here on elevation is I want to click the invert button. So you can see that I have this kind of a shape now. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to grab this and drag it down till it's just almost flat. Okay, and I'm going to edit this with metal. Doesn't really matter. I'll pick something dark like cast iron. And if I move my camera so I can see it a little better, you can see I have this nice metal shape now, and you can see the shadow of it cast onto the plane. Okay, the other thing I want to do now is I'm going to do a copy, paste. You see it changed color slightly? I'm now in a different version of this, a different copy. So I can edit this, and I can erase this, because I don't really care what that has on there. In fact, here's what I can do. I can go back to my pictures, and instead of loading that picture there of the grate, I have this other picture here of a glass bump, and I'm going to copy and paste it and apply it, and so it looks all really bumpy here. Alright, so I'm going to go apply and the check mark. Now when I try to view it, obviously that doesn't look very good. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go edit glasses, and I'm going to pick a glass like red glass, for example, and then I'll click play. So what I have now is this stained glass. And what I can do, in fact, is actually make that stained glass even a little bit flatter, if I can get a hold of it, and then go back up, and you'll see a much more defined metal outline here, and you can see the light shining through it. So now that I've got those two pieces together, I'm going to select them like this and group them. Okay, so that now when I edit them, I can actually, move them. Sorry about that. I can actually move them, and I'm going to hold shift so that it goes in 45-degree turns, or not. I'll just do it straight up and down like this. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I can rotate this around, and I'll move it kind of off to the side. I can actually add a texture to my ground terrain, rocks and stones. I'm trying to do this quickly so that I can get all this on there, and maybe even some water. I'll add a real nice clear texture to my water so that it's just kind of a Caribbean resort. There we go. Okay, so here you'll see my stained glass sitting in front of water. A little bit boring, but I'm going to add a sky. Maybe something with a nice sun behind it would be good. Okay, and anyway, that's a basic way to do stained glass. Now you can get creative and do some other pictures with the stained glass. And let me see if I can open one of these here. Here's another one. Alright, so you can see that you've got a lot of flexibility. Here's one I took an actual stained glass pattern. I just did a search on the internet for stained glass patterns, and I took it and I made that be the frame, and I mean, and so it really works well, and I have enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. Thanks a lot.